Hey knitters, welcome to episode 195 of the Knitty McPurly podcast. I am your host, Devin Ventry. You can find me online at KnittyMcPurly.com. I am Knitty McPurly on Instagram. And if you want to email me, I am Devin at KnittyMcPurly.com. Thank you so much to those of you who have subscribed because I have hit 6,000 subscribers. Awesome. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. If you're new, please hit subscribe. Then you will get notified when I make a video, which is every Saturday, by the way. You can come back every Saturday and I will be here. So tomorrow is officially the first day of fall. I am very excited. And even though I have heard from all the fall haters out there, there are way more of you than I thought. I think we all have to admit that one good thing about fall is that it is now sweater weather here in the Northern Hemisphere. Of course, we're going into spring in the Southern Hemisphere, but in the Northern Hemisphere, we are headed into fall. So I wanted to wear one of my summer knits before I couldn't wear them anymore. I am wearing the Wildflower Tee by Cheryl Beckridge, and I've got my shorts on because it's gonna be like 82 today. I had a friend of mine, my friend who taught me how to knit, Lisa. Hi, Lisa. She saw my Wildflower Tee and she was like, I have to make that. She's like, just make me a kit and send it to me. So we did. So if you want a kit for this, just let me know. Do we want a kit for this? Maybe next summer. Next summer? I don't know, whatever. But anyway, yeah, I got that sent out to her and I'm excited to see hers. She's like, I can't pick colors. So just pick the colors for me and send them to me. And I have my, so here's what happened today mentions a similar plight about picking colors. So I am here to help you guys. Just let me know if you need help picking colors. All right, let's move on to progress and shop news. I have a new fall balm in the shop right now, coffee shop. Isn't it so pretty? I think I do these labels pretty well. This one is called Coffee Shop, and it smells like a coffee shop. It's not like pumpkin-y or fall specifically. It just smells like coffee. It smells like coffee with cream and sugar, and it's so good. So last week I showed the stick. Today I'm gonna show the balm, and you kind of get in there and break the seal on it. And, oh, I forgot to get something to wipe my hands on. Because if you use the tin, you kind of need something to wipe your hands on. Although you can use your elbows. I had somebody say, just put it on your elbows. But it smells good. And if you're like me and you have old lady hands, I have old lady hands. You put the balm on there and it just helps. They're a little bit less old lady. So I'm just gonna get a little more, rub it in on that hand. Also good for nicks and cuts. It's got good stuff in it, so it helps it heal up faster. Gonna have soft elbows. So that is in the shop right now. It's available in the, I just got some on my face. It's available in the 2-ounce tins and the 1/2-ounce stick, whatever you prefer. Okay, also, I have September's color of the month in the shop. Isn't it beautiful? I think it came out so good. It's speckly and fall and just so September. Sharpened pencils and leaves changing, and I just thought it was so pretty. So I had a customer order this combination. I don't know if she's making a Benedicta, but I think that's what I'm gonna make. So I have 2 skeins of River Rock in Dubrovnik DK and 2 skeins of September in Dubrovnik DK. And I think this is what I'm going to use for my Benedicta that I've been talking about and haven't started yet. But I would love to start that. Isn't that going to be so pretty? So kind of the main background color will be the River Rock, and then this will be the accent color. Now for my size, I think I make the 3rd size. I had talked about going down a size and adding the bust darts, but since I made my Anne sweater, and I did finish it, but I'm not wearing it. So I'll talk about that in a minute. Since I made that, I did that. I went down a size and added some bust darts, and I just don't think that that's right for my body type. shape, whatever. So I think I'm gonna stick with what I've done before with Benedicta because those fit super well. I think it's the 3rd size that I wear. So that will be really fun to start, and I think it's going to come out great. I have made, oh, I'm gonna talk about that in a minute. Next, I wanna talk about my One Pot Wonder. This came out so beautiful. I forgot to bring it up here, but I'll put a picture. This came out so beautiful. It's many, many shades of purple with teal speckles, and it came out so beautiful. It's literally a One Pot Wonder. It's like, what dye do I have left over? You know, put it on in a pretty way, and there it is. That's available in the shop right now. I don't know how long it will last because, like I said, I literally dyed 1 pot of it. So it's available on Frankfurt Fingering only. If you're interested, go grab that. Okay, that is all of the shop news. I wanted to talk to you about my Ann sweater. So I think this is a great pattern. I love that it has so many customizations built into the pattern. Like if you don't know how to do vertical bust darts, horizontal bust darts, waist shaping, hip shaping, if you don't know how to do that, this is a great pattern because it shows you how to do it. I love the neckline where you have the, I'll show it to you, where you have the increases in the neckline, and then you bind off here, and then you pick up the sleeves. Now, you might be asking a few questions. See, that's, I think, the front, but this is a little bit less wrinkly. So, first of all, Devin, why are you not wearing this sweater? The reason is because it is a little small. It fits. See, the pattern said to choose 1 inch of negative ease. I think I was between 2 sizes, and I chose the larger size, and then I added bust darts, but not very many. But honestly, the bust is not where I need more space. I need it here. So for me personally, I should have knit 1 size up. Good news is that it totally fits Gigi. It looks great on her, and it's totally her style. It's very girly with the poofy sleeves. Now, second of all, you might wonder where the rest of the sleeves are, because the Ann sweater has bigger sleeves than these tiny little caps. And that is my fault. What I did was, so when you pick up the sleeve stitches, you place several stitch markers as vantage points, you know, so that you know like where the top of the shoulder is, you know, where this, you know, top of the shoulder equidistant from the top of the shoulder and then further down. As I was knitting the short rows to shape the sleeve cap, I was supposed to knit to the lower stitch markers, and I stopped at the upper ones. And I was looking at it going, do I like it, or do I want to go back and take it out and fix it? And I decided that I liked it. But that said, I have plenty of yarn left. So if Gigi decides that she wants the bigger sleeves, I could totally do that, although this looks great on her. She tried it on this morning with the sweatpants that she had on, and she was not really into being photographed with the sweatpants. So maybe another day I can show you with Gigi wearing it. But I think this is a great little pattern. Also, it has a detail at the top that I omitted, not for any reason, I just didn't want to do it. It also has that same kind of rolled detail at the bottom, and maybe on the sleeves too. It might be on all of the edges where you go back and you just pick up this little stockinette strip. Now here you just continue it and you add it on, and the same here. But for the neck, you go back and pick it up. And what it does is it's just a little bit of stockinette and it ends up rolling over. When I saw it, I thought maybe it was an I-cord, which would have been a little more complicated, but this is very simple and it gives that little extra detail, but I did not do it. So that said, I used exactly 3 skeins and then like a tiny bit of the 4th skein. So I have plenty of yarn left. If I wanted to add the bigger sleeves or whatever, we will see. I'm very happy with how it came out. I think it is a great little pattern. It's a little wordy. When it comes to writing directions, I like very pithy, short directions that use an economy of words so that you can quickly go back and see what the thing is. when it's wordy, and I think that's how I got lost, because, and that's my fault. I'm not blaming the designer. It's my fault for getting lost, because if I had taken the time to read carefully, then I would have seen that it was these 2 stitch markers, not these 2 that I was supposed to knit to, but I didn't. I just wanted it quick. And so, but I'm very happy with how it came out. So it just is a little small, not the designer's fault, just what happened. And for me personally, because when I tried on the one at Lori's shop, I don't know what size that was, and it was a little bit big for me. I would want it to be a little smaller than that, but I liked the more oversized fit. And I like a fitted sweater. I mean, you can see this one, but it's not tight. I don't know. It's just got a little more space in it. I don't know. I'm happy with how it came out. Gigi is going to look great in it, and her birthday's coming up, so it's like a little early birthday present. Have not touched the Rachel vest because I have been focused on knitting this. I'm telling you, I tried it on, and as I was trying it on, I was thinking, it fits, but it wasn't tight, it just fit. I don't know. Anyway, I'm definitely going to start my Benedicta in these colors. Here's a picture of the Benedicta in case you don't remember what that looks like. It is a DK weight 2-color sweater. You use about equal amounts of each color, and it is Christian symbolism. There's crosses and stained glass windows and trinities. It's a very Christian sweater. Benedicta, I believe it's not like holy, but gosh, what does that mean? Oh, my brain. I knew at one point when I wrote the pattern, I knew what it meant. Anyway, I'm excited to start that. Honestly, after my experience with the Ann sweater, I think I'm just gonna knit the Benedicta as it is. I don't think I'm going to add in short rows because it's just not right for my body type. If you have a bigger bust, short rows can be great. Oh, one other thing I wanted to tell you about is that, and did I say this last week? Maybe I did, that I have put on my website a free worksheet for when you want to change your yarn weight. Did I say this last week? I said it to somebody. Maybe I said it to you guys. Anyway, that is on the front page of my website. If you want to go download that for free, you can do it. You can print out as many copies as you want. And, you know, if you have a place where you keep your printed patterns and whatnot, you can keep that with the pattern so that you know if you want to knit that again with that yarn weight, you'll know how much yarn you need if you did all that math and what size to make to fit you. All right, the comments section. Barb said, the Arkansas retreat sounds so fun. It makes me all the more excited for your retreat in January. You should know you're quite a celebrity around here. My 4-year-old granddaughter, Erin's little girl, I met Barb and Erin at the last retreat. Hi, ladies. Told me the other day that she might be Knitty McPurly for Halloween. Oh my gosh. The funny thing is that Charlotte wants to be me for Halloween, which I just think is so funny. That's just hilarious to me. I would love to get these little girls together. How cute. Allison Foster said, hearing all about your weekend was so exciting, made me even more excited for your retreat. Yay! I have a set or two of the ChowGoo 9-inch interchangeable needles. Remember the ones I showed last week where it had the 3-inch and the 2-inch? And after I thought about that a little bit, and then I read Allison's comment, it cemented it in my mind. Allison said, put a 2-inch point on one end and a 3-inch point on the other end, so because it's easier to hold the 3-inch point, probably in your right hand, as if you're a picker, which I am. I don't know if it's different for English. Maybe you do the other hand. I don't know. But she said, it just makes it easier to hold. And that's why they're like that, so that you can move them around as you like. She says, I did not discover this on my own. A sweet knitter shared this with me. Hope your work settles in and you recover from all your retreat fun and travels. Have a great week. Thank you so much, Allison. Roundtree Stitchery, who is the designer of the Ann sweater, said, I stumbled upon your podcast while hunting down a mysterious influx of traffic to the Ann sweater pattern. It was such a delight hearing how you chose it. I love that Lori let you try on her sample. It has always been one of my favorite versions of the Ann sweater, and that particular yarn really makes it shine. I totally agree. The increased modifications you made look wonderful too, by the way. Why, thank you so much. I don't know. Like, I am new to adding this type of a modification to a sweater. I just don't think I need it. It's good to have in your arsenal if that is something that you need. I highly recommend this sweater pattern if you would like to do those modifications or you want to learn how to do them. Just remember, when you're doing the sleeve stitches, don't stop the short rows here. You need to go all the way to here. Okay, Pam Knits Too. Hi, Pam. Says, I'm a lefty in terms of writing, but I do everything else righty. I seem to have more strength in my right hand. It's strange, but it works well when going through life. Oh, what has happened to the sock challenge you talked about previously? I think that Pam is talking about our Sock Knitters Club, which is going to open up soon, within the next month or so. I've got to figure out how to set it up. I've never used this type of a service before where you, where it's like a monthly subscription. I've never done this before, so I'm working on getting that set up. The first shipment will ship out in December for January. It's gonna run through 2025, January through December. Just a reminder, if you don't remember, we are going to knit through Summer Lee's The Sock Project book. I have chosen the 12 patterns that we're going to make out of there. And if you subscribe, you will receive yarn to make that month's sock from the book. So you'll want to have the book to go with the kit. The book doesn't come with the kit. You need to buy that separately. But you can get it on Amazon. I think it's like 12 bucks, or at your local yarn store. Yes, so I'll have more details out about that as it gets closer. But yes, that is still happening January through December of 2025. And she said, you're so brave to do all that traveling and losing your car. I just can't do that by myself. So great to have you back this weekend. You were missed. Honestly, I feel the same way. Like, I would always rather, not always, I would rather travel with my husband in moments like that because he always knows where the car is. But you know, he does things like has a 45-minute layover so that he has to run through the airport to get his connection. And I'm like, hard pass. I'll take my 2.5-hour layover where I can get to the gate, see where the gate is, go get my food, go to the bathroom, eat my lunch or dinner or whatever, watch all the people, and then very peacefully and calmly get on the airplane. So I do like to travel with my husband so that I'm not running around trying to find my car, but it's a trade-off. Christina says, I recently flew out of the country and I planned my knitting socks so that I could use wood DPNs on the plane. And I packed my ChowGoo circulars in my checked bag to switch to them when I landed. So smart, Christina, great plan. Fast forward to the return home, and that's never as organized, is it? When we're flying out, we have got every single thing lined up. Coming back, you're just like, get it in the bag, whatever, go, go, go. Anyway, she says, I'm at the security checkpoint. ChowGoo still in use. I panicked, quickly swapped out the DPNs, put the circulars stretched out along the side of my carry-on. Don't make it look like a weapon. Made it through security, yay. Sitting at the gate, I get chosen for additional screening. After the groping and the digging through all my stuff, I was cleared to board with all my needles. When we landed, the passenger in front of me dropped an earbud in between the seats, pulled out my ChowGoos to poke around for them. Knitter to the rescue. See, TSA just does not know what it is missing by going after all these knitters, and they're very, very helpful tools. They should just let us have them. That's what I think. Vicky says, I really like the sweater you're wearing in the podcast today. Could you tell me what the pattern is for it? I always watch your podcast each Sunday during lunch and really enjoy it. Thanks for the great info and knitting stories. So that sweater is, can I find it? So this is the sweater that I wore last week, and I love the yarn. I don't know what the fiber content is, but it is a single ply, and this is from Kim Dye's Yarn, who is a Northern Virginia based dyer, just like myself. And the story behind the sweater is that this is my stress/grief project that I made in 2019 when the knitting world fell apart. And I cast on some number of stitches and did raglan shaping. And when I got to the top of the sleeve, I knit front and back, front and back, front and back to make a nice big wide sleeve. And then at the cuff, I decreased some number, and then I just knit straight down. I love this sweater. I love the yarn. The dyeing is just so cool. There's one place where it pools, and I just love it right here on this sleeve. It's like a watermark. It's like watercolor. So anyway, there is no pattern for this, but it wasn't hard. You know, if you have a pattern that you like, how it fits, you could, especially if it's a raglan, I mean, so easy. You could just use the stitch counts and a yarn that you really like and just knit it. And the thing about it being top down is you can keep trying it on. To make the puffy sleeves, all you do is for this top of the sleeve part, you're gonna knit front and back every stitch and it puffs out the sleeve. And puffy sleeves, especially when they're a little bit longer, like in this sweater or in my Go Lightly sweater, it makes for a really comfortable sweater because you have so much room in here. I think maybe I have bigger shoulders and that's why I need the full size, but I don't really need any modifications. So I've learned something. Anyway, so yes, several of you asked for the pattern for that. There is no pattern. It does not exist, but it would not be hard if you wanted to make something like that for yourself. Just kind of base it on, use the yarn you want and base it on a sweater pattern that you've already made. If you haven't made one, a great place to start is someplace like Petite Knit because she has so many basic sweaters. Or if you're a fuller figured person, some of the designers that I've recommended in the past who have modifications for a bigger bust or adding shaping in different places. Again, Kate Oates, The Perfect Tee Handbook, Hintermstein, I think it's called The Perfect Polo. There's lots of good options out there. Helen says, Devin, for the Anne sweater, do you think you can make that sweater omitting the sleeves entirely as a modification? I typically like puffy sleeves, but when you shared your project, it looked great at that point. You absolutely could. In fact, there is a baby sweater called the Milo Vest that uses a very similar construction at the top, and it just makes like a little vest. It'd be like a little thick strapped camisole. You absolutely could do that, definitely. Melissa says, my friend is a gate agent at the airport. One day, a guy was just screaming and carrying on because he thought he should have had priority seating. Oh, my heart is breaking. She very calmly told him to lower his voice and stop speaking to her in that way. And he continued, so she sweetly said, do you see the gentleman over there in the uniform? He turned and looked, and the officer was standing there looking at them. She said, all I have to do is wave him over, and he will remove you from the airport, and you will miss your flight. So he sat back down and waited for his section to be called. Can you imagine? What nerve? Oklahoma, Texas Sheep Lady said, great sympathy on the misplaced photo/car. When there is something I know I'll need, I send it as a text to myself. That's what I should have done because that is a multiple step process and that would have been harder to skip. She says, I never can use the Notes app on my phone, but text is easy for reminders. That's what I do, note to self. And she said, as for the chemo menopause brain fog, sorry, it's that fuzzy sweater, it gets in my nose. I found that 600 milligrams of phosphatidylserine daily to be a true miracle for me. So I read this comment earlier in the week and I actually got some of that. I think I got 400 milligrams. I did not notice a difference, but maybe I need to up it to 600. She said, I had no idea that brains are powered by hormones, but they seem to be. Yeah, it's not just menopause, because when you go through menopause, you still have ovaries, and ovaries provide estrogen. And I had to have mine out because I'm not allowed to have any estrogen. So my estrogen levels are just so low that it just, I feel like my brain just doesn't work like it did before. I also, with regard to designing sweaters, because many of you have asked, and part of it is the fact that my brain, I just don't feel like it works as well as it used to. Also, finding a tech editor is impossible. I've gotten recommendations. I feel like I've tried everyone. And finding someone who is both good, reasonably priced, and reliable. I don't even, honestly, at this point, I think I would pay any price. If they were good and reliable, that would be a game changer. I think that would I could probably design if I had a partner in a tech editor that I could trust. But alas. Okay, moving right along to knitting fantasies. This week, both of my picks come from Ravelry and a designer who is, I don't know what her nationality is, because her patterns are in 11 languages. Wow, her name is Teti Lutzak, and she's just so pretty and tiny, and she's got this cute little haircut, and she designs a lot of very textural or colorwork sweaters that just look very European to me. I don't know. But I have two picks. The first one is the Paulina pullover, and I just thought it was so beautiful. I just love the motif. I think it's so pretty. Some people knit this with more than 2 colors. Her main one is in 2 colors. She has different directions for the neckline. You can do it as kind of a funnel neck, or you can fold it over as a rolled collar. It comes in 6 sizes and uses sport weight yarn. My second pick from Teti is called the Ornata blouse. And the thing I loved about this, it's kind of like that sweater I just showed, where it has puffy sleeves and a lot of ease. It has this delicate detail in the neckline and at the bottom of the sweater, maybe on the sleeves too. But what I loved is that the sweater itself is one color and all the color work happens on the sleeves. This one comes in 5 languages, 9 sizes, and it is a sport weight. Now this is one that I would probably choose to make in a smaller size because there's a lot of ease in it. It's not tight anywhere. So I haven't looked at it too much, but I would probably choose to make that in one of the smaller sizes. All right, moving right along to, so here's what happened. Thank you so much to those of you who have come through for me. I have a few, so here's what happened in my inbox. Thank you so much. If I have not responded to you yet, I surely will. If you are a regular watcher of the podcast and you have a knitting story, please send it to me. I love to share these stories on the podcast. It's everybody's favorite part. Share your heartwarming, ridiculous, hilarious, tragic, etc. knitting story by either emailing it to me, Devin at KnittyMcPurly.com, as a written out document. You can send in a video or an audio recording, and I would love to share it. Today's story comes from Rachel. I have several story givers whose name are Rachel. They're not all the same Rachel. She says, "Hi Devin, I really want to knit a Benedicta, but I can't make yarn decisions. I wish you had a speckled yarn like the main color in your sample." I do speckled, variegated, interesting yarns every single month. And when you buy them, they have on there, and usually it's also on the website, the colors that they coordinate with. So you could choose any one of those colors to coordinate with to make a color work project. She says, "Anyway, here is my attempt at a knitting story. When COVID vaccinations were first available, my husband's Nana, who is now 96, was one of the first in our area eligible to receive it. Her first jab was at a local university's basketball stadium, so I took her. During the waiting period, there was an elderly woman seated near us knitting. A gruff older gentleman complimented her skills and stated that it was a dying art. Nana whisper yelled to me that I should have brought my knitting. I would have had I not expected to keep her company. I was a newer knitter at the time and needed to look at my stitches. She says, now I take my knitting everywhere. At the pool this year, I was knitting a baby sweater for my son's teacher's long-awaited baby during swim team practice. A sweet little girl was so interested in how it was growing and becoming a recognizable garment. It was then I realized that that's how we share this hobby. Knitting in public plants seeds of interest. Amen to that. When I was knitting this past summer at swim team practice and the meets, I would get a little bit of interest, not a ton of interest, but a little bit. And who knows, maybe somebody noticed and thought, I should learn to knit. Rachel says, I love knitting in public now. I knit everywhere except for Mass because I can now knit without looking, so I can watch my kids swim, hold conversations, and even homeschool while knitting. That last one is a game changer. Amen. Knitting while homeschooling helps you to be patient because kids learn slow and you have to close your mouth and let them think. And it helps if you have something to do with your hands. At least I have found that to be true. Also, sometimes when you're teaching little children and it's just so boring and you're like fighting to keep your eyes open, knitting will help you in that way too. She says, knitting has allowed me to, yes, knit garments for myself and allow my son to twin at Christmas with his teacher's son, but it has unlocked so much more. The conversations with strangers about knitting, the confidence it has given me, and the subtle inspiration I hope it gives others is a blessing. What I cannot do is choose yarn for myself, so I knit for my children. Anyone willing to be my yarn stylist? Rachel. That is why I am here. That is my whole reason for being, is to be people's yarn stylist. Like when I choose colors for a sweater, I hope it will inspire you. You can do the exact same ones if you want, or you can use it as a jumping off place. The purpose of the color of the month is to give you color work options that aren't just all semi-solid tonals. All of my regular colors, all 18 of them, are semi-solid tonals, and those are great. I love them. But sometimes you want a little fun in there, and that's what the color of the month is. So I hope that helps. If anybody has any questions, you can totally just email me too. Like you can say, I love that thing that you had on. Can you make me a kit? And I'll say, sure, I can do that. I do that. I hope you all have a wonderful week, and I will see you back here next weekend. Bye, knitters.